Hello, Maya. Thank you for your time today, tonight. It depends on where you are. Thank you for joining me. Can you please introduce yourself a little bit so that the people will know who I'm dealing with here?
Yes. My name is Maya Coppola, and I am part of a trio called Ondist, based out of Los Angeles, California.
Okay, so you're based out of Los Angeles, California, but it seemed like you're not all in the same place, or was I mistaken?
We are all in Los Angeles for the most
Okay.
part. One of us lives in Malibu, California. The other lives in North Hollywood, and I live in Hollywood.
I see. Oh, so actually, yesterday I was also. So Hollywood seems to be where all the musicians are. I mean, you're now the second musician I interview from Hollywood. So
Yeah.
there's a
Well, we're
scene going
spread
on.
out. There is a scene. When we're not in lockdown, there's definitely a music scene in Hollywood. That's
I
very
see.
nice. Yeah.
Can you tell a little bit about your background in music? So where you're coming from, what you have done before, and how you
Yes.
met with your current guy? Because okay, let's go with this, and then I have a few more questions.
Yes. So we all have varied musical backgrounds. We're all multi-instrumentalists and have been pretty well versed in different areas of music. My background starts at 4 years old. I started with a cello, and I was too small for it and played it like a bass until
That's cool.
until my parents are musicians. They're both jazz musicians, and music was just like as natural as breathing in my household. And so I studied cello, classical music. I started officially on cello at 8, and then piano at 9.
So before that, it was pre-official, or how you say?
Yeah, it was just playing along at the
Okay,
the
so
family
in your
jams.
household there was a cello around, and then you just played around with it.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. And that is the household I grew up in. As liberal as my parents were, they were like, "You shall play this instrument. You shall play this one."
Yeah.
So it's a good thing that the instrument they chose for me was one that I actually really had a deep love for. So it started out with cello and piano, and then I joined. I played in orchestra and a string quartet, a Beatles quartet, and then by the time I got to high school, I got into rock music and joined some bands and sang in bands, and then I moved to Manhattan, New York. I'm from New York. And I went to NYU and started getting into the music scene there. I started out writing jingles for commercials and little 1-minute snippets for soap operas, songs that sounded like popular songs but weren't. And I produced my first artist at 20. I met this person, a lawyer who was an aspiring songwriter. I arranged his songs, put together a set of musicians, and we went into the studio and recorded his songs, and that's it. And
Wow.
my
20 already.
at 20, yeah. Well, that was actually my first and last official producer credit, and as a solo producer. Until I co-produced most of my other albums, but then I found my way west, moved west, met the guys that I'm working with now in Ondist, and we just became a trio. I think originally I was supposed to just be the singer And, within a few days, they discovered that I was also a writer and a musician. And by the end of the week, they had asked me to join the team. So
I see. So they found you. So how did this? Was it a chance meeting, or how did you came together? Really?
It was a chance meeting. I'm also a jewelry designer, and
what are you not? Is the question, I guess.
Exactly. So I'm a jewelry designer, and that's actually. I left the music business when my daughter was born and chose to seek a different profession so that I could be on hand to raise her and run a business so I could be in more control of my time. And so that was a long diversion for me because raising a child is more than a full-time job. So I got into jewelry design and started jewelry business. And one of the aspects to the business was doing these very kind of hipster-like artisan shows, flea markets that have become quite popular in the States, in big cities. And they are the flea markets where you can buy a coffee for $8 and very gourmet artisan food.
Okay, this is not what I would kind of consider a flea market. It's more like okay, I got it.
No, they're very highly curated affairs, and I met one of the men, one of my collaborators. His name is Corbin Dooley, and I met him at a very cool location in LA. It's called Abbot Kinney, at this very hipster flea market, and we got to talking. I told him I played cello. It was a very interesting encounter. We were having wildfires, and everyone was evacuated from their homes. And he, having lived in Malibu, where the fires were happening most intensely, was evacuated from his home. And I had asked him if he was okay, and he was like, "Well, I don't know. I had to evacuate my home with just, some fair few precious items, one of them being my hard drive." And I was like, "Oh, what are you, a producer?" And he's like, "Wow, that then answers my question about you." I was like, "Well, why?" And I was like, "Well, he goes, because there are many things that you could put on a hard drive." I'm like, "Really?" Music is the only thing I've ever put on a hard drive. And
that's the only thing that counts, right?
Exactly. It's the only thing that counts. And so that began our relationship. And over the course of the next few months, he kept trying to get me into the studio to play cello. And there were lots of things going on in my life at that time that prevented me from going. But eventually, 3 months later, I finally went in with my cello. We sat down for 10 minutes in his beautiful studio that overlooked the Pacific Ocean. Wow. And we chatted for, a few minutes. And 10 minutes later, I was on the microphone singing a song. And, an hour later.
It was the material you knew before, because, just 10 minutes. So basically, you sang on the song you were supposed to play cello too.
Yes, exactly.
Okay,
I sang on the song that I was supposed to play cello to. I think, I'm not even really sure. I never even looked at my cello that day. It sat in the corner unpacked.
I grant you that you are very well versed in music, but just listening to a song for the first time and 10 minutes later singing on it, it's quite a feat. It's possible, but you heard the song before. That's my point here.
Well, yeah, all I had heard, he had sent me a few MP3s, and I had listened to them. There were no vocals, there was no melody. It was just a track. And so he asked me to vibe with it. So I sat in the middle of his floor. I looked out at the ocean, which I was very familiar with because I grew up on the Atlantic Ocean. So it felt like home. And I sat and looked at it, and I just started singing whatever came to mind. You know, I'm a songwriter, so that is, you know, really I feel way more comfortable with melody than words, than just speaking. Sometimes I feel much more comfortable with that. And I just started singing what came to mind. He liked it. The engineer, who is our third partner in our trio, Nick Portman, they looked at each other and they're like, yeah, let's do this. You want to get on the mic? We'll just pretend we're not here. You just do your thing, do whatever you feel. And that was how it started, really, you know. And yeah, and then the next thing was I got a phone call from him a couple of days later, and he was like, do you want to come in and have a songwriting session with us? And the answer was yes, and that was the beginning of our exploration as a production songwriting trio.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it seems like I need to move to LA, I guess.
Yes, move to LA.
Yeah, no, I'm actually quite happy here in Germany, but yeah, but
where are you?
I'm. Have you been to Germany, or do you know?
Not yet.
Okay, not yet. I'm about 300 kilometers away from Berlin.
Okay.
I'm in Thuringia. It's the you know, we have 16 little countries that make up, you know, like states, 16 little states in Germany. So it's Thuringia, and my hometown is called Jena.
Okay.
You might have heard of Carl Zeiss or something, maybe not.
Of course I've heard of Carl Zeiss.
Okay. Good for you.
I have a Carl Zeiss lens on my camera.
Oh, perfect. So this is my hometown. This is where this stuff originated from. I don't know if it's coming from here anymore, but yeah, you know, the first planetarium was here, and a few things. Karl Marx and some other people. So yeah, it was.
A few thinkers, a few inventors.
Exactly, you know, Nietzsche was close by in Weimar. You might have heard Weimar Republic or something.
Yeah.
You know, some bad stuff happened around here, of course, as well.
Yeah,
but
of course.
we were not going to talk about it. Anyway, this is where I'm from, and I'm actually quite happy here. Jena is a really nice town. It's very small. I mean, compared to LA, it's nothing.
Yeah.
How many citizens are in LA? How many inhabitants? I don't know.
That is a good question. I would say 20 million, maybe.
Okay, yeah. Let's see. In Jena, it's like 100,000. So
yeah.
And about 20,000 are from this are students. So it's a quite young city. We have a university and yeah, actually basically 2 universities. And anyway, so let's talk not about me. Cool. We want to talk about you. Yeah. Sorry, I just wanted to give you, because what I'm interested in is I specifically didn't prepare for this question. I don't know what Ondist means. Can you explain to me what Ondist is?
I would be very happy to. And it's interesting because there's a lot of serendipity around how we all came together as a group. And this is one of those things. So I will tell you what Ondist is, and then I will tell you a very funny story about that. Okay, so an Ondist is a person that plays an instrument called an ons martenat. And an ons martenat is something kind of like a theremin or a mellotron, more like a theremin. It's like a wave. It's like an archaic looking synthesizer, so to speak. It makes waveform sound. So
you also steer it like with a theremin with its hands, or you don't touch it?
You play it like a keyboard. So it's almost like this bizarre looking piano. Yes. And So what's funny about that is, we were trying to think of names for the band, and we all had long lists. I was coming up with some names, and Nick, the engineer, was coming up with names, and we were all coming up with names. Some of them were utterly ridiculous, like Dolphin Diapers. That was one of them. I'm really glad.
I think Ondist is
Yes.
much better than Dolphin Diapers.
And so I come into the studio one day, and Corbin asked, "Do either of you know what Ondist means?" And I immediately knew, and the reason for that is I lived in Woodstock for 15 years. When my daughter was born, I moved to Woodstock, New York, which you might have heard of. It's also a small town.
I might have heard of Woodstock, yes. I'm a little bit familiar with music, so I might have heard of it. Yes, of course.
So I lived there, and for a short time, I lived in a very cute cottage on a road called Hill 99 that was owned by
Hill 99 is also a good, it's a nice album title or a band title. Hill 99, it's a cool title.
Hill 99, and there is no Hill 1 through 98 either. It's just a...
Hill 99, that is, okay.
Hill 99. So I lived on Hill 99, and the cottage that I was living in was owned by a woman who, by the name of Cynthia Millar, who is one of 8 Ondists in the world. There are only 8 professional Ondists in the world, and she has played for Peter Gabriel and the Vienna Symphony, and you name it. So I knew what an Ondist was because I actually had a landlord that was an Ondist of all things.
Because now I don't feel so bad anymore because I have never heard of this. I mean, I actually have a theremin, not here in my rehearsal space. So because I really like this quirky, I really will check this out because I like quirky little things that are not normal. But I had never heard of that. So, but now that I know that's only 8 professionals out there, and I don't feel so bad anymore.
Yes. Wait, I have something happening here. Okay, I'm back.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you. So an Ondist is somebody who plays, and how is this instrument called again?
Ondist. The instrument is an Ons Martinat. It was named after the person who had invented it. I don't remember his first name, but his last name is Martinat. He's a French man, and the name Ons is the word for wave, for waves. So just sound waves. That's basically the instrument is quite literally waves.
Okay, cool. Okay.
Which is also serendipitous because we make most of our music on the ocean. The ocean is literally the backyard of the studio.
It had to be this name.
It really had to be this name. Exactly.
And so now, I mean, you are a producer, and you have an engineer and another guy who's a producer. So
yes. We are all producers, even the engineer. So yes.
Exactly. So my question is like, how? I mean, this is kind of you all know what you're doing, but how do you agree on where to go? I mean, how can you decide? Because I mean, every one of you can basically do things, and when do you decide this is the way we want to, the song we want to do?
Yes, that's a good question. We try to work as democratically as possible in the group. I mean, obviously, we all have different levels of experience with producing. The engineer is highly technical because his background is in engineering. And so he comes from that place, the very technical place. Corbin, who he has a diverse background, and his experience is mainly in DJ and electronic music.
Mm-hmm.
And so he brings that to the mix. And my experience is much more emotional and kind of intuitive with
Mm-hmm.
production. I am literally just beginning to learn the technical terms of, like, formant and, the actual recording terms. Basically, I've always just described
Mm-hmm.
what I wanted to happen in production. And but so we bring all of those things, and my strength in the circle is songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
So, everyone has their area of expertise, and, when we agree, it's awesome. When it's a unanimous thing, it's great. There's nothing to even discuss. When we don't agree, is not always as smooth sailing.
I can imagine.
But and there's definitely a dynamic, because I'm the one with the least amount of technical knowledge. I definitely have to come to the party with as much technical terms as I can when I disagree, and stand by my disagreement. But it's, I think that kind of friction and that dichotomy really helps us make the song the best that it could sound, and really what it comes down to is trust in each other, and trust in each other's opinions, one another's opinions, and that's how we get there. And we have now recorded something like 50 songs or so since we've known each other. Wow. Yeah, and we've really only been working together for a year and a half. So and we've recorded all over the country, at like 6 different studios.
Was it on choice, or was it just because it happened? Because I mean, you seem to have a very nice studio with the waves and the nice view. So why would you go somewhere else?
Okay, well, that's because that one is basically the home studio. It's it's pared down. It doesn't have a console to mix on. It's we're very fond of SSL dualities as our mixing board. So we seek out studios when we're in mixing phase to record there. And when we record live with drums and other instrumentation, we like to go to studios that have Neves.
I see. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, cool. So, so what are your musical influences? Because I just, before we started talking, I was listening to I know only one song of you, Greenery.
Yes.
I didn't check. I have to admit, if there's so much more. I don't really know how to describe it. I mean, for me as a DJ, it's quite easy. I can say, okay, I like it. I don't have to explain it. So, and I like it. That's why it's in my playlist, and I will play it on my radio show. But what's your influences? I have one band that came to mind as I was listening to it. I don't know if you have heard of Morsheba. It's kind of it's a little bit. Yes. You're not as trippy. I don't know how to say it. Trip hoppy as Morsheba, but this kind of reminded me. So as a but it's not a real good comparison. It's still something, you're something on your own, of course, So what are your influences?
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for even using that as a reference. They are high on my list as far as my influences. Cool. Again, there are 3 of us with 3 very diverse backgrounds. my influences are Morcheeba, and Massive Attack is,
Oh yeah,
like
Massive Attack, of
the
course, yeah.
epitome for me. And I worked with Tricky many years ago, and
Cool.
and for me, influences are trip hop and that whole kind of like brain food kind of heady music, and David Bowie and the Beatles and Bach. Bach is a big influence in my songwriting, his chord progressions, and and that's me. And then Corbin is very influenced by like 07 and Bonobo and DJ driven music.
Okay.
And then Nick, he's quite a bit younger than us, and he's from New Zealand, so he just has a different worldly experience just in general. And he comes from a punk background and like hardcore, and I think his influences are Rancid and Slipknot. And we recently posted about our favorite albums, and his were a Rancid album, I think Slipknot, I can't remember the other one, but so that's his background. So it's an interesting mix, and we bring all of those elements. I think we all have like very wide and varied tastes in music and things that have influenced us. But I would say definitely alternative music, definitely indie music, definitely DJ driven music, definitely trip hop and things that fuse kind of hypnotic beats with very melodic and organic instrumentation.
Oh yeah, it's a good point, because it was not so. It didn't feel like, sometimes you have electronic music and it's, I like it too, but it's very harsh and very, it's a drum machine and it's just, everything is electronic. And yeah, but here it seemed, it was a warm glow in your music. So I guess this is the acoustic instruments you use. I wasn't aware of. I mean, I was aware of a glow, but I didn't really could put my finger on it. Sometimes I don't really want to know how things happen and just enjoy. Sometimes if you peel away the layers of how things happen, then it kind of it demystifies things sometimes. So, but here now I get it why it was a little bit warmer and outstanding and not just electronic, but still electronic. Yes. So very weird stuff. Cool. Yeah. So you already have 50 songs out. So you released a few albums, I guess.
We don't have 50 songs out yet. We've recorded 50 songs, or maybe even more than 50 songs, because some of them started and then we kind of let them sit for a minute because they didn't feel natural. It felt like we were laboring over them. And then, of course, the pandemic happened and, prevented us from really working the way that we like to work. But we've released one other album so far. We just received the masters back yesterday to our upcoming album. And so, recorded and released, we have 14, 22, like 30 to 34 songs with this album that's coming out in a couple of months. Yeah.
I see. So, cool. So, and I guess, because you just mentioned it, because of the pandemic, so there's no live activities, or how are things in LA at the moment?
Well, California is a hot spot and has been for quite some time. So we are all considered lepers. We're on lockdown, and there is not a lot going on. There is no live music happening in LA right now. The studios have just gingerly started opening back up and having sessions, and there's like all of these different protocols that people have to follow before having a session, how many people are allowed to come into the session, and safety measures being taken everywhere. And as far as us, we were conveniently for us, we were at the point where we're in basically marketing and promotion stages of the albums that we've released so far, and not in a creative writing phase right now. So, it worked out for us conveniently. So we have gotten together a few times, though. We're filming a couple of videos, and we do everything in-house. Like I'm the primary videographer of the group, so I've been making most of our videos. Nick is, we just filmed 2 videos, of which he's going to edit one, and I'm going to edit the other. But yeah, we do everything ourselves. We made our own website. We do our own art. We're just, we do it all. And it's fun because we get to tap into many different areas of our creativity, not just music, which is fun.
And all I mean, the good thing is also, of course, you hold all the cards. There's no corporate how you say inflictions or kind of infringement. I don't know the right word right now, but you know what I mean. We don't restrictions, or we don't tell you what to do, and it needs to be marketed like this and whatever. So are your videos already out there? Because
we have probably 14.
Wow. Okay.
14, but they're lyric videos. But they're very some of them are basic lyric videos, but they all are cinematic. I've tried to be cinematic with all of them, and they're not just your basic lyric video. They all have a story going on. There's film. There's I've had a lot of fun putting these, and discovered that there's actually something else that I really quite enjoy doing. So
okay, and you have a time for all of this now, or how do you? I mean, are you still a jewel maker or a jewelry designer?
Jewelry
designer. Yeah, what's a hard word for a German?
I am, but it's interesting that you ask that, because in my involvement with this project, I have had less time to focus on jewelry design, and so it's been decreasing. And then the pandemic hit, and it really kind of has put the jewelry business on pause for an indefinite amount of time, because all of the stores are closed. So all of my wholesale accounts
all of your flea markets, with the $8 coffee are closed, I guess, as well.
Yes, those are all closed. All of the stores are closed. All of the stores that buy my jewelry are closed. And so I've basically just been full-time. Like this is a full-time job, Ondist. I work 10 hours a day. We have our morning, Zoom meetings and Google Meets.
The Ondist Corporation.
It is literally a machine. We are a machine. We have a manager, and she's on it, and it feels like it's a full-time job for her too. And we're not messing around. We definitely plan to leave our mark.
What were your biggest achievements so far? I mean, now with the pandemic, what was your biggest reach, or what was your biggest win in the Ondist Corporation so far?
In the Ondist Corporation so far, we consider every win a big win, and just momentum.
Yeah, that's right. Success is very individual. That's true.
We've gotten on some very honorable playlists. Apple Music had, on our last album, we had 2 songs that made it to their best new music playlists for Apple and Shazam, which was we thought that that was a big win. And I have a friend from Woodstock, New York, who is a big music journalist, and she wrote a really lovely small review on the album, and we thought that was a win. And we've gotten onto lots of Spotify playlists and on some radio, gotten some ads here and there in radio. It's apparently in Reno. In Reno, Nevada, of all places, they seem to really like our music, and so it's playing there, and in a couple of choice radio stations across the country, in Tucson, Arizona, in Kansas City, Missouri, and so that's it. And we've had a couple of playlists. I curated a playlist that has a few thousand followers, and we saw that as a success. And it really helped our numbers grow for a couple of the songs that were on that playlist. And, little by little, we're building.
Okay.
Little by little, we're building.
Of course, I'm thinking that's the way to go. It's kind of, I mean, it would be nice, to be like, I don't know. It's don't take it as a comparison, but like Justin Bieber just hit it big and then exploding. But on the other hand, I think it's better. You're an experienced artist. It seems to have more a natural grow and not being in the spotlight. Pushed in right away. Anyway, now it's pandemic anyway, so it's good to be on. But you can do so many things online and just do little things. So. With the lyrics, so you write the lyrics because you sing as well. So it's your kind of duty to do the lyrics as well.
Yes, we all kind of write. We all contribute to everything. But I do take for most of the lyrics, I will write a good portion of them, but everyone contributes, and sometimes there are more contributions from one than another. And so we kind of do it like that. It all depends on how the song originated, and that's how it goes too. Like some songs originate with an individual in the group, and the songs that originated with an individual are primarily just written by that person, like lyrically and melodically and stuff like that. And then tweaks are made, like, let's change this lyric, or, maybe this melody and, this verse sounds more like a chorus. So we're going to change this and we're going to make this a chorus. We're going to speed up the tempo. We're going to change this chord. And then we're going to do this for the verse. So it depends on the song. But yes, Greenery, Greenery actually originated with Corbin in Tucson. He started to write this. He lived in Tucson for a while, and he began writing Greenery on his piano, and from there he took it to Amsterdam and invited a couple of friends to come along. Luke John, who is featured on the song, he accompanied him to Amsterdam and added a layer of vocals and some lyric and some guitar. And then he came back to LA. At this point, him and Nick had made acquaintance. And Nick got a friend of his from New Zealand, a piano player, the man Stephen Small, who plays piano on it, recorded his part from New Zealand remotely. So they weren't even in the same country when he recorded that part, which I think is very cool. Even on the same
continent, I guess.
Or even on the same continent, exactly. And then when I became a part of the song, the track was already basically made. And so my role was to write the melody and the lyrics. And upon first listen to the song, there was just such a dark, cinematic kind of fabric to it. And when I closed my eyes and thought about the song, it just gave me this feeling of this layered, many lives kind of adventure and journey. And so that's how it started. In one life, I was a pilot. And then just, this kind of life that you navigate through. And that's the vibe I got from it. And it was sinister. And then Corbin, we were in Dallas, actually. And it was just Corbin and I in Dallas. And he, when we were recording the vocals, he was like, are you familiar with Maleficent? The evil,
the movie. I only know the movie. Your movie, okay.
Right, the character. And I was like, of course. And he's like, let that be your delivery. And as soon as he said that to me, for me, this lyric, because when I write lyrics, I don't let it be a theme. I don't try to write about something. I let the song tell me what it's about. And sometimes, before I met these guys, it would take 6 months, a year for lyrics to come out. I would never rush lyrics. I would write the song, write the melody, sing it phonetically, and then through the phonetics, I would allow some lyrics to start coming through. And to me, that was just a very organic and very instinctual way for the song to dictate the lyric, to dictate itself, and to tell me what it was about. And so some of the lyrics didn't necessarily make sense to me. I was talking about being a pilot. I was talking about being a sailor on the sea, propelling myself toward someone as their destiny and them being drawn to them as mine, and not really understanding what I actually meant by that. And then, and so when Corbin suggested that I deliver it in kind of a temptress, sinister way, everything clicked about the song. And yes, and that's, basically.
It's really cool, because I really like this approach too. Because first, you use your voice more like an instrument, and so it's kind of you're feeling your way through the song, and it really accompanies it quite well. And the way you're doing it, so that's why it was so smooth, because you were already there phonetically, and just put the words in later. You kind of did it the other way. Not the other way around, but usually you write the lyrics, and then you try to fit it into the song, and it doesn't really work. So you have to shorten a word, or you have to kind of switch things around. So I got it. And I'm more from the Gothic, dark wave stuff. So, and you are not my usual fare, what I deal with. But yeah, like you said, now it makes perfectly sense, because I was drawn to the song, and it was like, oh yeah, this song. It's not. Like I said, it's not the usual stuff. It's not dark wave, but it's kind of, it's a little bit darker, and it's a little bit, like you said now, sinister. Now I get it, you got, so basically, congratulations to you. You got the vibe right. This is just you pleased me. This doesn't mean anything. I'm just one person, but so wow, that's actually a quite interesting way to deal with this music thing. And it seems like the guys help you also to get along a little bit. To fasten your process like you said before, it took you a year to write lyrics, and now you
sometimes.
50 songs in a year.
Yeah.
So this was kind of helped with the guys being on your side, I guess.
Right. Well, luckily for me, I don't write all of the lyrics. So some of the songs had some lyrics already written when they came, and I made minor adjustments here and there. And, but yeah, I've learned a lot of new techniques to my approach as a songwriter in this collaboration. because before I really wouldn't rush lyrics. I would really wait until I was inspired to let the song tell me what it was about, unless there was the case where the lyrics came out right away and I knew what they were. But I have never, not one time have I ever sat down saying, I'm going to write a song about, the pandemic and then that's what it's about. I've never been that type of songwriter. I don't even like writing songs like that. I find for me, when I try to do that, it always it's very contrived and sounds contrived. But lyrically, I just, it starts with guitar. It starts with just like an intimate moment with me and my guitar and chords and a progression and then a melody. And then the lyrics are just, well, I'll get to that. I'll get around to that. But no, they have definitely inspired a work ethic in the creative process that I really, really appreciate, because I think a lot of artists, well, not a lot. I know a lot of artists that are brilliant. They are truly brilliant, but they allow it all to be about inspiration and then nothing. It's either total inspiration. It's almost like being manic. They'll have this wild, manic, prolific period where they write like crazy and make music and paint and then have a 4-month period where they sit on the couch and watch Netflix, and I'm not really that extreme, but I find that if the inspiration's not there, I don't try to force it out, and they've taught me in my working with them that is sometimes you just gotta, even when you don't feel the inspiration, you pick up the guitar and you diddle around until something comes out, and you just consider it a job, on some level, just like getting up and going to your 9 to 5. You get up, you do your vocal warm-ups, you play around on your guitar and your keyboard. And sorry, cello doesn't get as much love as everyone else because it's a different instrument, so you can't just pick it up and put it down. You got to warm it up and do your exercises, and but yeah, so it's been a great change in my work ethic as far as my musical creativity, working with them, for sure.
No, I completely agree with you need to be inspired, but also you shouldn't force yourself, like you said. But if you practice a little bit, it's like doing yoga or breathing exercises. You can get to the inspiring phase a little bit faster, or you find gateways to this realm where you want to go to, and so it's good to I'm with your guys basically. But you should do it on a not daily basis, but on a periodic basis. That you kind of, it's like a muscle. You work it, and you're getting better and better, and so you get more comfortable with it. If you just wait for the big spark and for the big flashy thing, then like you said, there's maybe 3 months in between where you just sit on the couch, and this is not. I think you can force it a little bit without being too forceful, to just do feeling like, okay, I'm writing down because it rhymes like this, it goes into so. There's the middle ground, and you seem to have struck it somehow. I guess it helps to have the people looking at it and saying, so yeah.
Well, it also helps too when you do feel a little stuck and you do feel like you're forcing it. It really does help to be in a collective where there are 2 other people, that those 2 other people might not be in the same place. They might be feeling incredibly inspired. And so they'll add something that sparks something in you, and then you're inspired. And, I feel like we do that to each each other a lot. Like
Hmm.
one of us will have an idea that triggers these other ideas, and it's great to be able to play off of each other in that way too.
Hmm. No, I completely agree. This is, your jam or something in the Proberaum. Sorry, Proberaum is German rehearsal space.
Yes.
You jam there too, because this is how things happen sometimes in my
No,
world. No, oh.
no, we never jam. And that is one thing that I personally hope will change, because
Hmm.
I think that that is very instrumental in songwriting, is just to like commune in that way. I had a band like 20 years ago in New York. And we rehearsed 4 days a week,
Hmm.
and we started every rehearsal with smoking a joint and just jamming and connecting with each other's souls, and musically, without words and without thoughts, and just kind of really vibing off of what each one of us was doing musically in that jam. And we would do that for 30 minutes, sometimes an hour,
Hmm.
before we would get into the actual rehearsal of the set list or whatever. And we don't do that. And I really wish that we would. For me, it's a huge comfort zone. I mean, that's just playing in orchestras, playing in bands. I'm very comfortable playing music that way. I don't think the other two are as comfortable with that. I know that during the winter, we went into remote working for the winter, as opposed to going to the studio in Malibu every day. And one of my suggestions was that Nick and I just kind of have like a Friday songwriting session where we sat down together with our guitars, or
Hmm.
someone on a guitar, someone on a keyboard, and we jam. And he was like, like, that's out of my comfort zone. And I hope that changes, because I
Hmm.
think that will also infuse a great deal of soulfulness into our music if
Hmm.
we originate a song in that way in the future.
Yeah,
So I'm
yeah,
looking
and
forward to that.
yeah, it's like commune is a good word. It's a good
Yeah.
word
Thank
for that.
you.
No,
Danke.
bitte, danke, bitte schön. No, because it's really like this kind of, a band is always, it's, it's a chosen family, so it's and you really get closer to it without using words if you really jam. I remember
Yeah.
when I was young, I jammed for hours. I didn't know what I was playing, but it was great, and it was such,
Yeah.
it was such a, you were lifted to a different realm, to a different spiritual thing, and it was just fun to do, and it was like taking a drug almost, so just
Yeah.
being out there, and like you said, today, it's so easy. You just put your cell phone in, and I mean, if you do it in your studio, you can just hit the record button and record the whole session, and then you can
Yeah.
say, oh, this was a good part, and this is kind of the organic thing you might bring to the team. It seems to me,
Mhm.
that things happen organically,
Yeah.
and this will enhance the songs even. I mean, not enhance. It will change the songs. It will change the structure of it, but doesn't need to be to a better way, to worse way. It could be a different way, better or worse. It doesn't really matter. It's a different way.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely I 100% agree with that. I feel like and you used a good word too. It's like it is almost like a drug. It's almost like a meditative.
Yeah,
It
meditation is a better way.
it's
Yeah.
like
Hmm.
you get into this interesting, like, something. There's like a frequency that changes. Like, there I go into my new age
Hmm.
talk, but it's true. This, like, a frequency changes within you when you connect with another musician like that. And it's like the only way I could describe it is your skin gets warm and there's like this warmth feeling that happens. And it's like this undulating kind of vibration that happens between you and other people when you make music in that way. And, I look forward to that. I really do. I'm hoping that is something we experiment with as we move forward as a group. I think it'll really help.
Yeah, and I also think, this will help. I mean, at the moment, it's no question about it. There will be no live appearances. But, if you do this, you kind of get more comfortable. I guess you will use backing tracks if you do something live, because it's such a... it's still a lot of electronic music in it, but still there will be parts where you can play live and where you of course sing over it. So it's good if you get already comfortable with each other doing that. That you can kind of. I always, when I used to play in bands, when you just looked around and just we play the chorus again. The people just love it, and just give them what we want, and so this can happen organically only if you are a team, if you are in sync basically.
Yes, definitely. And we've talked about what we would do when and if we play live. We would most likely have live musicians,
That's cool.
And,
I really like
and
that.
the whole DJ setup on the stage, and infuse our electronic elements in with the organic elements of band, like Massive Attack. I mean, when I think to anything we do live, I use them as my reference point. And if we could only ever get to even in a shadow of their brilliance when they present themselves live, I would be a very happy woman.
Do you know? So. Do you know the band Policia? Policia, I think it's
Policia.
No. I saw them live here, also in Jena, and we had I think we had 3 drummers. And a bass player and a lot of electronic things, coming from backing tracks and stuff. But it was great what we did,
Wow.
I mean, and it was still a live performance because everyone kind of basically, I mean, you play cello and you play guitar, I guess, can fake things, but a drummer cannot fake playing live. You can kind of see if he's on time or if he's really hitting something.
Exactly.
So. This was, I mean, check them out. They're really, really cool, and they kind of fit your vibe. I don't know where they're from. I think UK or something.
Oh, very cool.
So
I'm definitely going to check them out. I have a feeling I'm going to love that type of music.
Policia.
Mm-hmm.
A Dark Star. I think it's one of their songs. Anyway, so because this was like, I was like, okay, I was checking them out before, and when I was going, and was like, what are we gonna do live? There's a lot of electronic stuff. So let's see. Was this you?
Yes, I'm sorry. Someone just texted.
I see. Okay, I was like,
apologize.
No, no problem. You have another life, I guess. You have other responsibilities. Anyway, let's. So you're. So, but you're still doing well, even with all the shutdown and no jewelry and stuff. So you're coping fine, I hope.
Yes, coping fine. Luckily we are. We have some financial backing on the project, which we are very grateful for. And it was just perfect timing that when the pandemic happened and everything was shut down, including everyone's businesses and employment, that we were still able to work, freely and have a salary to work with and not really have to worry too much about finances and stuff like that. So
that's perfect.
Thank goodness. Yes.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm mostly done. I mean, I am done with my questions. So, is there
Oh, wonderful.
something? Uh, okay, somebody
I'm
wants you.
sorry. I will just let me just respond by saying I can't talk right now.
Shut the beep up.
Right.
Okay, no. Be polite. Like
Yes, of course. No.
Germans are known to be very polite and nice people. So
Yes.
so be
Yes.
German. Be German
Well,
about it.
New Yorkers are also known to be very nice people, but we
Uh-huh.
are not known to be terribly polite. But
Hmm.
but we are very nice and very gregarious, and
So is
But
there something else you want the listeners to know about the Ondist? Or
um,
sorry, it's Ondist, not the
it is
Ondist.
just honest, yeah.
Hmm.
Check our music out. It's very.
Of
I mean,
course.
what else?
Mm-hmm.
It's very diverse. I mean, it is. You will listen to Ondist and think that you are listening to several different bands. I mean, we have electronic songs, we have jazz songs, we have rock songs, alternative songs. We have the only thing we don't have is like deathcore and like really,
Yeah.
which is
And death growls,
exactly
I guess.
exactly.
Okay.
Although, what's funny about that is one of my voice teachers from New York that I studied with, she actually is famous for teaching deathcore like singers.
Okay.
Her name is Melissa Cross, and she like invented some way to scream that doesn't hurt your vocal cords. So all of these like heavy metal, deathcore, kind of industrial, people go to her.
Death metal mostly, or
Death metal, yeah.
black metal or whatever.
And she is like the most joyous, happy, giggly, bubbly, full of vibrancy. Like you walk into her studio and it's like walking into a sunshine room. She's just full of life and joy, and and then
And then
with
you
their
come out,
darkness.
you're like, oh.
Exactly.
Okay, that's funny. That's funny. I should check her out. One question I would have, but you don't have to answer it, of course. It's like you mentioned that you worked with Tricky. So I'm just curious. How did this happen, and what did you do with him?
How did that happen? I don't even really remember how we met, but I
But he's
was
from the
asked.
UK, right? I thought he's
No, it was in New York.
Okay.
It was in New York. So I was asked to go to his studio one day, so I did.
Okay.
I really wish I could remember how that meeting happened. I'm assuming my manager at the time set it up. I don't know. But I went, and and mind you, I did mention that I smoked a joint. I used to smoke joints, but I'm not a big smoker. I've never been. I had parents that were big smokers, and so I rebelled against them by being
not smoking. I see.
Yes. So I showed up, and the first thing he did was hand me something that looked like a sushi hand roll, right? It was a big tubular, trumpeting, flagellating joint, my own, because he also had one of his own. And we sat there, and I was like, okay, I'm smoking. And we played chess. And we played chess for like 2 hours. Wow. And smoking a joint. And then after 2 hours
who won?
I don't even remember my name. I wasn't even sure what my name was after that.
I see.
Then we went into his studio. He had his engineer was there, and in his apartment. So it was a home studio. And he just started playing a new track of his, and he was like, just do whatever you feel. And so I just started scatting, like jazz. Again, jazz was part of my household. And so I just started doing that because I was a little nervous and I was a little stoned. And I just, that was a safety area for me and comfort. So I just started scatting, and he loved it. And so we worked in the studio for a while, I would say 4 or 5 months, we recorded a bunch of stuff, and then he literally dropped off the face of the earth, like just disappeared.
Okay.
No one knew where he was. His manager didn't know where he was. Like literally working, hanging out, talking, texting, or not texting. We didn't really have cell phones back then. We had beepers, beeping each other, and then total silence. And it was a very pivotal moment for me because I really didn't know what had happened. I thought everything was going great and that we were rolling along, and then he disappeared. And of course I internalized that, like I must have done something wrong, which I didn't, as it turns out. But so that was a pivotal moment for me, because right after that I got pregnant, and I was like, okay, that's my cue. That's my cue to pursue this other dream that I had, an intention that I had for my life, was becoming a mother. It felt like the right time. I was 30, almost 30, and it made sense. And so I did, and didn't hear a word from him until 2.5 years later. I am now living in Woodstock, a mommy, and I get a call
with the Ondist person in Hill 99.
Oh no, yeah, no, this was way before Hill 99.
Okay.
This was when I was married and living in a house and kind of like a housewife and a mommy, and going to mommy and me
I cannot really
classes.
picture you with. Okay, yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
you had a different life back then. You had a different life.
A much more normal, the normal life. And then I get a call from my sister, who is a recording artist, and she goes, she's like, yo, I just got like the weirdest phone call. So Tricky calls up my management office and asks to see me. And it was about 25 minutes into the conversation when he realized that I wasn't you. He thought he was looking for you. And so anyway, he wanted to work with me again. And at that point, I was just a new mom and was kind of in that mix. And I was like, no, sorry, I can't do it right now. But it was interesting because it validated something for me, which was, I thought that he just left the scene because he wasn't digging what we were doing, and he left the scene for his own personal reasons. He went through a journey himself and went back to the UK and tried to get his head together. And it took a couple of years, but, as soon as he had gotten his head together, he tried to reach back out. But at that point I had moved on.
So you got some closure after all.
I did. I got some closure, and that was really, I needed to get that. So it was nice. It was nice, but
nice. And
I look forward to.
Did some of her stuff, end up on his records or something? I mean, did you know? Oh, sure, too bad.
No, they didn't. He didn't vibe with her. That's why he figured out that she wasn't me. I mean,
with the stuff you said you had like 4 months you recorded with him.
No, I don't think anything did, because he went through a period where he isolated. He didn't make any music for 2 years. He was dealing with some personal things, that, and I think after that he just wanted a clean start himself. So so that got shelved. that's unresolved. That remains unresolved. But who knows?
Yeah, I mean, now you're back in the game basically, so you can kind of, hey, Tricky, what's going on?
Exactly. You know what?
So,
I plan to one day. I really admire his work and hope that we get to work together again one of these days. That would be very nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
Very nice. Cool story. I mean,
thank you.
Weird, but yeah, so interesting.
Yeah, it was very weird. Like, I gotta say, one of the weirder people I've met in my life, and I've known loads of weird people.
I mean, you have some more stories to tell, or some interesting stuff.
Oh gosh, I mean, I've got loads of stories to tell. I don't know how appropriate.
Okay. Only if you feel comfortable with it. I don't want to put you on the spot here. I mean, I put you on the spot, of course, but I don't want to, kind of if you're not. Anyway, my point is, I kind of I got to know all I wanted to get to know, and now I'm actually more interested now in your music. I will check out much more of about 30 songs you put out there. Because for me it was easy to find you because you found me, basically. You sent me the song and you chose very wisely. It was really my vibe. So I'm going to see because I'm not a big jazz fan, so I'm going to see that I stay away from this part of, but I would be interested in the, like you said before, that your engineer who's into rancid and punk and stuff, what he kind of contributed, if I can find some of the songs he inspired, basically. So this would be an interesting mix. So I definitely gonna check out your music now, and of course the listeners and the viewers should do this as well. And in 2 months, your album comes out. 2 or 3 months, you said?
Our current album just came out 2 weeks ago, the one that Greenery is on. Okay. But our next album, which is called Mise en Place, is coming out.
Again, please.
It's called Mise en Place or Mise en Place. Mise en Place. Mise en Place. Okay. We say Mise en Place, but that's clearly not how you say it in French. I'm sure the French people will cringe when they hear us say it like that. It means everything has its place.
I see. Okay.
So that's coming out in, I believe the release date is October 21st-ish, somewhere around there. You can't hold me to that because I'm not positive, but and it is entirely different than this album. It's like very singer-songwritery. There's even a couple of songs that lend itself to kind of country elements, high focus on lyrics and melodic structure. There are pre-choruses. There are more than 2 chords. There's, it's different. It's a lot different.
I like that. I like that to not being boxed in and kind of do different things. So kind of reinventing yourself or just kind of going in different road for this one. Cool. I'm looking forward to it.
I will recommend 2 songs for you to listen to.
Okay, I'm writing down.
Okay. One is Resound. I think that you will like that song. And another is, we did a cover of You're So Vain.
You're So Vain, okay.
Yeah, which is
you probably think the song is about you.
Exactly. And it is probably nothing like what you might expect the song to sound like. So it was. I'm very proud of our rendition of that song. To be honest.
That's maybe because I really like good made covers, and I mean by that you take the essence of a song and make it your own. That's really what I like. If you just do it. It's step by step. It's like coloring by numbers or painting by numbers. I really think this. I mean, it's still a feat, it's still, you still have to learn it, you still have to play it, you still have to sing it. And it's also, but you're just copying it, it's already out there. And then I would most likely choose the original over the one you just did. But if you make it your own, and if you give it a new twist, I really like that. That's my kind of thing. I like covers a lot. I mean, covers that are different from the original.
Yes. Exactly. Me too. And this is so different from the original. It almost sounds like its own song, and well, I mean, it does sound like its own song, except we're using someone else's song. But I have had that experience too. And I like a cover when it is truly a departure. Like, for example, my mom was a dancer, and she used to do her warm-ups every morning to Earth, Wind, and Fire, right? And so there was one Earth, Wind, and Fire song. It's called "Gotta Get You Into My Life." That it's a Beatles cover, okay? And I didn't know that it was a Beatles cover until the first time I heard the Beatles cover it. And I was I was like 22 when I first heard the Beatles version. Don't ask me how that happened, but it happened somehow. And I was with a group of friends, and I was like, who are these clowns trying to cover this Earth, Wind, and Fire song? I mean,
it happened to me too. Yeah.
And every one of my friends in that group turned to me like I was literally born the day before.
Who I was are like, the stupid person we are this year? Yeah, I see. Yeah. No, I had this before.
That is
well.
the Beatles. Yeah. But it was great. It was great to feel that strongly about someone's cover, that I actually preferred the cover to the original. And I love the Beatles. They are up there with my inspiration as far as songwriting goes. So yeah, it's cool.
No, it's cool. Why did you call your the upcoming album a French title? You seem to not really know how to pronounce it, so I don't think you came up with a name.
No, it wasn't really my choice, to be honest, but I appreciate the title, and I do understand why it makes sense. But Corbin is into cooking shows. He watches cooking shows a lot, and they use that terminology in cooking shows a lot. It's mise en place, means everything has its proper place. And I guess it's the way you add spices
I see.
to the recipe. And, ultimately it kind of makes sense for us, because we all add our own various spices to the recipe of our songwriting collaboration. And so that's it.
No, the name is pretty good. I really, but it's just like the name is great, but it sounded like but we don't know how to say it. So it was like, okay, how was this happen? Okay.
Right. By our third album, people are going to think we're a French band.
Merci pour votre collaboration. Oui.
Merci. That's it. That's what I got.
De rien. Je m'appelle Tobias. Anyway, I cannot speak French, but
me either.
I can only pretend.
Comment allez-vous? And bonjour, mon ami. Everything ends up sounding kind of Italian.
Je suis recherche le sucré. S'il te plaît.
Right. You lost me at whatever.
I'm looking for the sugar. This is but
that's
anyway.
Fun.
That's I used to live for 2 years in Montreal, so I picked up a little bit, but I never really learned it. I'm from East Germany, so I learned Russian in school, but even this I forgot. If you never use it, you forget it.
Yeah. Actually, Russian is a language that I literally do not know one word in. Not one word. I mean,
okay.
I don't even know how to say yes in Russian.
Da, Очень хорошо. Da is
da.
yes. Da.
Da. Okay.
You have to say it Russian. Da.
Da. Oh, wow. And they mean it when they say it.
Exactly. They mean it. Okay. Yeah. So, okay. Yeah. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Maybe we should do it together. Again. I mean, once your new album comes out, so we can kind of dissect it. And you already gave me two. I'm really looking forward to check. Resound and your Sylvain is on the new album, right?
No, those are on our last album.
Okay. So I can check it out already. So okay, good. I will do that. Yeah, thank you. This was quite insightful. Yeah, I wish you all the best. You know, keep on doing what you're doing. Also, will check your videos because I'm gonna check your lyrics a little bit.
Thank you.
And see how this works out. You know, I mean, you explained sometimes we have written, sometimes we happen. So maybe I can decipher which is which. So don't tell me. This will be my doing.
Nice.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, Danke, and auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Auf Wiedersehen. Thank you.
Very good.
Auf Wiedersehen.
Very good. Auf Wiedersehen. See, somebody wants you.
Yes, that's Nick's texting
okay,
now.
If you want me to put some special links, I will put the links to your Spotify in and stuff. But if you want some special links, just send them to me. And
okay.
I will put them in the video and also later in the podcast, which will made out of this conversation.
Okay. I mean, I would say links to Resound and You're So Vain, because I think maybe your audience would appreciate those songs as well without being too much of a departure from what they like to listen to.
Okay,
because I'm
usually
sure
I put it right to your artist page anyway. I mean to your Spotify, so we can choose whatever we want. But yeah, if you want, I can do also specific links, of course.
Perfect. Whatever you want. And you know, we'll chat, and you know, if something comes to mind before the 18th, I will definitely let you know. Okay,
perfect. Cool. So
have
a great start in your morning, and I will have my dinner now.
You too. Enjoy your dinner, and
thank you very much.
So much for having me and us.
It was a pleasure. Thank you very much. And say hi to the guys. Maybe next time we can a conference or something like this. Or you know what would be really cool next time if you could make it out of your studio, or even if it's just the home studio, so we can have the background view. This would be really nice, you know.
Yes, I was hoping for that for this time, but next time we will for sure do it from the studio, and you'll get a view of the ocean. Maybe you'll get a dolphin to pop in and say hello. That would be nice.
With his diapers? With the dolphin diapers?
In his diaper, exactly.
Okay, have a great day, and talk to you later.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Okay, bye-bye. Ciao.
Bye-bye.